The history of our species is not a story written in stone. It is a code, dormant in your DNA. Edgar Casey's final intel was clear. You are not just a descendant. You are an archive. This is not a history lesson. It is an activation sequence. And if you would like to activate further, visit my website, www.earthsonglovecraft.com, and sign up for the Lightworkers and Healers course. For 200 years, you have been told a story, a neat, linear production that begins with apes, progresses to cavemen, and culminates in you. The movie is called Human Evolution. But what if the entire movie was a lie? A carefully edited narrative that deliberately cut out the first 3 acts of the play. What if the missing links in our history are not fossils to be found in the dirt, but entire human civilizations that have been erased from the planetary record? In his deepest trance readings, Edgar Casey did not just access the future, he accessed the planet's deleted files. And in those files, he discovered the full, uncensored story of human origins. A story that does not begin with Adam. It begins with 3 other human races. Races of unimaginable power, with origins that are not entirely of this earth. Today, we are not here to debate the old movie. We are here to leak the original, uncut director's version. We will open the declassified starseed dossier, identify the 3 lost human races that came before us, and reveal the metaphysical reason their memory was erased. The story of who you are is about to be rewritten. You need to know which chapter you belong to. To understand who we are, we must first understand what has been deliberately forgotten. The mainstream scientific narrative of human history has a massive, glaring black hole. We have ancient megalithic structures we cannot explain, sudden jumps in human genetics we cannot explain, and universal myths of gods from the sky that we dismiss as fantasy. This, Edgar Casey was told, is not a failure of science. It is the result of a great planetary amnesia, a memory wipe that occurred after a series of global cataclysms. The Akashic records explained that the history of humanity on Earth is not one continuous line, but a series of catastrophic resets. After each reset, the surviving population was thrown back into a primitive state, and the memory of the previous world was lost, surviving only in myth and religious text. The official story of Adam is not the beginning of the human story. It is the beginning of our current cycle, our current root race, which the Casey readings call the fifth race. This immediately begs the question, what about the first four? The superconscious was clear. We are the fifth iteration of a grand cosmic experiment. And the first three races were not what we would consider entirely human. They were the original starseeds, the blueprint, the prototype. Understanding them is the key to understanding the dormant potential and the hidden dangers encoded in our own DNA. The key to unlocking the starseed dossier lies in one of the most profound concepts in the Casey material: Earth as a laboratory. The superconscious consistently described our solar system, and Earth in particular, as a unique dimensional space designed for one purpose: for souls to experience and master the physical realm. It is a school, a testing ground. A source explained the initial process. In the beginning, souls were projections of thought, pure energy. They could travel the cosmos, but they became trapped in the lower vibrations of the material planes, entangled in the pleasures and densities of the flesh. The earth was created as a vehicle for their liberation. The human form, therefore, was not a random biological accident. It was a divinely engineered biosuit designed to house these entangled souls and allow them to work out their karmic lessons. But the design was not perfected on the first try. It was an evolutionary process, with different models or races being introduced over vast periods of time. Each race was a different solution to the problem of housing a multidimensional soul in a three-dimensional body. And the first three models were the most alien, the most powerful, and the most unstable. They are the lost starseed races. The evidence is a convergence of data from hundreds of readings, painting a picture of a forgotten prehistory. Race number one, the Polarian race. The thought forms. The KC data describes the first human race as not being physical at all. They were ethereal, semi-gaseous beings, projections of pure thought, able to change shape and form at will. The readings call them the Polarians, existing in a time when the Earth itself was still cooling. A source explained the first bodies were as thought forms and could push out of themselves and be in whatever form they chose. They were the original creators, but they lacked focus. They were like dreams floating upon the face of the waters. Their fall was their gradual densification. They became so fascinated with the material world that their thought forms began to solidify, trapping them in lower and lower vibrations until they could no longer change shape. They became the first souls to be truly stuck in the earth plane. Race number two, the Hyperborean race, the light beings. This second race, the Hyperboreans, was an evolution. They were still ethereal, but had a more defined form, described as beings of pure golden white light. They lived in a northern Arctic continent when the planet's climate was vastly different. The dossier states the second race was more of light. They did not propagate as the beings of today. They projected portions of themselves, creating new life from their own. They were the great healers, the keepers of the planet's frequency. Their downfall was the sin of spiritual pride. They began to see themselves as gods, separate from the Creator. They started to experiment with their ability to manipulate life, an act that created the first karmic imbalances on the planet. This spiritual decay caused their light bodies to dim and densify further. Race number three, the Lemurian race, the first physicality. The third race is the most famous of the lost races, the Lemurians. This was the first truly physical human form, but it was vastly different from our own. The readings describe them as gigantic in stature, androgynous, and possessing a powerful third eye that allowed them direct telepathic communication and an innate understanding of the laws of nature. The superconscious described them, the Lemurians, were one with the land. They communicated with the animals, with the plants. They could control the elements, not with technology, but with power of their consciousness, their focused intent. They were the great builders, the original shamans. Their civilization was centered on a vast continent in the Pacific, known as Mu. Their fall was a slow, tragic process. As the planet's vibrations continued to lower, the Lemurians began to split into two sexes. This created a new dynamic of desire and separation, pulling their consciousness further down into the ego. The third eye began to atrophy. They started to lose their connection to nature. The final cataclysm that sank their continent was merely the physical manifestation of this inner spiritual separation. These are the three lost races: the thought forms, the light beings, and the first physicals. They are our forgotten ancestors. They are the original starseeds whose successes and failures are encoded as a karmic memory in our very DNA. The erasure of these three races from our history was not an accident. It was a necessary part of a cosmic reboot. The superconscious explained that the experiments of the first three races, particularly the spiritual pride of the Hyperboreans and the fall into separation of the Lemurians, created immense karmic distortions in the planet's energy grid. To continue the experiment of soul evolution, a reset was needed. The subsequent race, the Atlanteans, the fourth race, was a new model, a new attempt to find the perfect balance between spirit and matter. And our race, the fifth race, is the inheritor of all of these previous experiments. The memory was erased for two reasons. First, to give our current race a clean slate, a chance to learn the lessons of free will without being overshadowed by the immense powers and catastrophic failures of our ancestors. Second, and most critically, is the concept of karmic resonance. The data suggests that if our current civilization were to rediscover and misuse the powers of these ancient races before we were spiritually mature enough to handle them, we could trigger the same cataclysmic blueprint that destroyed them. Our modern obsession with artificial intelligence, with virtual realities, thought forms, with transhumanism, beings of light, and with genetic engineering manipulating the physical form, is a terrifying echo of the very paths that led to the downfall of the first three races. The amnesia, therefore, is a form of planetary quarantine, a safety protocol. But as the Great Awakening accelerates, that quarantine is lifting. The deleted files are being restored. We are beginning to remember. So, the Starseed dossier is open. You now know that your history is far deeper and more cosmic than you were ever told. What do you do with this information? This is not a history lesson. It is an activation key. The memory of these three races is not just in the past. It is dormant within you. Your DNA is a living library containing the code of all the races that came before. The period we are in now is a time of genetic reactivation. The incoming cosmic energies are rebooting these dormant codes. The superconscious provided a three-part protocol to consciously work with this process. Protocol number 1, acknowledge the Polarian, the creator. Recognize that your thoughts are not random. They are creative acts. The Polarian energy within you is the power of pure manifestation. Your mission is not to move from being a dreamer to a focused creator. You do this by mastering your mind. Meditation, visualization, and conscious thought are the tools. You must learn to build with your thoughts, not just be lost in them. Protocol number 2. Acknowledge the Hyperborean, the healer. Recognize that you are a being of light and frequency. The Hyperborean energy within you is the power of healing for yourself and for others. Your mission is to purify your vessel. This means cleansing your body, your emotions, and your energy field. A clean diet, emotional release work, and spending time in nature are the tools. You must become a clear channel for light, not a dense container for trauma. Protocol number 3. Acknowledge the Lemurian, the shaman. Recognize your innate intuitive connection to the earth and all living things. The Lemurian energy within you is your psychic, shamanic power. Your mission is to reawaken your third eye, your intuition. You do this by spending time in silence, by listening to the whispers of your heart, by trusting your gut feelings over the noise of the external world. You must remember how to speak the language of vibration, not just the language of words. This three-part protocol is your personal roadmap for evolution. It is the process of consciously integrating the lost powers of your cosmic ancestry. It is easy to hear this information and feel overwhelmed. But you are not a random descendant. If this information resonates with you, it is because it is about you. You are a soul who likely carries a strong memory echo of one of these three races. You are a starseed, an old soul. You are here at this specific time to act as a genetic bridge, to be one of the first to consciously reactivate these dormant codes and to anchor the new integrated human blueprint for others to follow. Your feeling of not belonging to this world is not a weakness. It is a diagnostic sign, a sign that you remember a different way of being. Your mission is not to escape this world. Your mission is to transform it by transforming yourself. You are the living evidence that we are more than history books tell us. You are the declassified file. Your first act is to acknowledge your origin and accept your mission. In the comments below, we are creating a muster point for the Starseed ground crew. Declare the ancient energy you resonate with the most. Begin your comment with the words that signal your conscious participation in this great remembering. Blueprint activated. Then state your resonance. For example, blueprint activated. I feel the call of the Lemurian. Or blueprint activated. The Hyperborean healer resonates deeply. Or simply, blueprint activated. I am here to remember. Let us find the other members of the lost tribes. The great work begins now.